Okay, so here's another quick tutorial about how to use Mattercontrol. Now, in the previous tutorial, we basically talked about most of the settings on this side, but we didn't really get into how to move around inside Mattercontrol. So, to zoom in, you just press Control, and then you left-click, and that allows you to zoom in and out of the view. If you want to rotate, you will press Alt and then left click mouse button. I don't know how to operate on a Mac, but this is what you do on a PC. If you want to move around like this, you just middle mouse button and you can go up, down, left, right, like that. But what if you wanted to edit the model? Then you would go down here where the edit button is, and it comes up with more options for you. You can rotate your model. In this particular case, you won't have to because the model is already sitting perfectly on the build plate. You wouldn't have to rotate it or do anything like that. But on other models you do. Then this button here is very important, align to bed. You always want to make sure that the model is aligned so that it's nice and flat on the build plate there. You have the scale option, which allows you to scale by ratio, or you can, right now they're all locked. These X, Y, and Z are all locked. So if I change this value to, let's say, 70, it will automatically change Y and Z and keep the model in proportion. If I was to uncheck this box and change the Y settings to, let's say, 30, then it would change just that particular setting. Of course, on a model like this one, you don't want to do that because that just messes it all up. But if you had something like a cube or a letter, you may want to make little adjustments like that. You also have the mirror option. Now, I'm going to change the model because it doesn't really work very well with this kind of model. Or, well, it might work actually. Alright, let me show you. Mirror the model. If you mirror in X, all it does is it mirrors the model. So now you see that the position of the hands, this hand was there, and this hand was in the opposite position, and when I mirrored it, there, we can do it again. Changed it over. It's probably more obvious on a different type of model, but anyhow, that was a mirror option. You have the display option as well. You could see it on shaded, and that removes the outlines. You can have the outlines on it, so you see these dark black outlines, or you can just see the polygons. And as you can see, this one is quite heavy on the polygons. But it's still low enough on the polygons that it prints out well and it edits well. If you take a look at this model here, for instance, it'll be even swifter. See? It just really doesn't have a whole lot. And although this, all the models that I build start off as quads, the second you press on the export to STL, they will turn into triangles. So there's nothing wrong with triangles. Whenever you render, whenever you 3D print, everything turns into triangles first. But what's important is that if you did build a model in quads properly, then the triangles that it puts onto the model are well sorted, and that makes it less confusing for the slicer to recognize and understand where it's supposed to create the layers. See, if we wanted to do a layer view, we could just press on layer over here and generate layers. Now when we zoom in, this just shows you the basic part. So first it'll start out here actually, and then it'll jump into this part. It'll do the bottom layer, make sure the model sticks to the build plate, and then it will generate the model. Now you could do this model with supports, and it's probably recommended for this part here because most of the time printers don't print very well in the air. But having said that, it printed okay even without support, so it's not too bad. So there's a basic editing options for Mattercontrol. Of course, there's more options in there, but again, these are the ones that you're most likely going to be using. So, especially as a beginner. So I thought I'd go through them for you. I hope this tutorial is very useful for you. So enjoy.